Hey everybody, today's January 10th, today we're going to talk about the price of Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin is it's in a lot of trouble right now, but the bulls are trying hard to form a bottom around 40,000. So the question is are the bulls going to be able to put in a bottom and push the price up higher, or is this going to be just another roadblock along the way of going down to perhaps 30,000, right? Before we begin, please read the disclaimer. You can pause the video as you read it. Okay, so Bitcoin has been in a lot of troubles for the past 2 months, basically, since November, right? We've basically been in a downtrend, lower highs, lower lows, right? And there was a little hope that if we can hold 45,000, right? If we can hold this Fibonacci level, right? If we can hold this Fibonacci support level and stay above the 200-day moving average, which is this blue line, right? Then perhaps there could be hope. And Bitcoin actually tried to stay above, right, by staging a rally in late December, but we were rejected over here. See these wicks, these long wicks? These are rejection candles from 52,000. I talked about in my previous post how I wanted to see Bitcoin stay above 52,000 before I entered a long position, right? Anything between 47, 52,000 was going to be basically no position for me, right? But the fact is we got rejected from 52, and that started this downtrend to where we are now at 40,000, right? In my most recent post on January 6th, I said that Bitcoin just closed a daily candle below 45,000, which was this red candle, this big red candle, right? And I said that we might see a bounce due to it being oversold, but will likely be faded and continue down to 40,000, right? And of course, my analysis would be invalidated if we can reclaim 45,000, right? But what ended up happening was it ended up actually being faded and falling not only down to 40,000, right, from here all the way to 40,000, but this morning we actually the price of Bitcoin actually fell below 40,000 very momentarily, a very temporary pullback, and before being let me zoom in to 30-minute. So yeah, it fell down very quickly, but it very quickly got bought up, right? So this could be a good thing in terms of like there's some bulls who are willing to come in and defend 40,000, right below 40,000. But at the same time, 40,000 is a very important level because, as you can see, 40,000 is the peak of the January correction, right, over here, back last January, but it's also a peak over here of the summer crash. We went up momentarily before crashing down more. It's also a peak over here and a support level, right, back in last September's when we had our correction before pushing up higher, right? And so this 40,000 is a very important level, and there's been a lot of price action around that level, a lot of volume being trading around that level. So Bitcoin really needs to hold 40,000 if it wants to maintain a bullish looking structure, because right now we're technically just ranging. We've literally been sideways for the entire year, right? I mean, we're at the same price as we were literally a year ago, right? Right. Today's January 10th. This is January 10th. We're literally at the same price. So yeah, right now it's a very important level for Bitcoin because it's trying to decide whether we're going to basically pull down to the range low and perhaps test this support level that we already tested multiple times during the last summer, right? And also our first correction of the first major pullback of last year's bull market rally, right? And if we break that level, then we'll definitely plunge into a bear market below 30,000. And by the way, let me just say that Bitcoin is not in a bear market until it breaks below 30,000, right? As long as it stays between 60,000 and 30,000, right, which is basically these Fibonacci levels, right? It's still technically ranging, right? So you can't really say it's in a bear market until we break below 30,000. In that case, we're breaking below a major market structure, which again, like I talked about, we would then have broken below our ascending triangle pattern, right? And that's really bad. Another thing is just looking, since we're on the weekly chart, like I said, we really want to stay above the silver line, which is the 50-week moving average, right? Because every time we enter a bear market in the past, right, it's because we had a full red candle close below the 50-week, right? And that generally is the start of a bearish trend downward towards the 200-week, 200-week moving average. And that's not what we want to see as bulls, right? We want to see the price continue to defend and go up, right? Now, I will say that when these happened in the past, Bitcoin was in a downtrend already, right? Lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, right? But technically, Bitcoin still has higher highs, right? We still have higher highs. So I don't know if we can 100% look at the past and say this for sure is going to enter a bear market, right? but because it's not like 100% the same structurally, right? We still are in ascending triangle until we have a strong break below 40,000. I've said that multiple times in these videos. So there is a chance, but we really need the bulls to put in the work, defend 40,000, and bring the price up higher, because right now we are, I'm afraid if we break this level, we're probably going to range down, fall down to 30,000, which is our range low, and at that point, we're going to have to see if Bitcoin can hold this level, because if not, we will likely plunge down to 20,000 in a bear market, right? But if Bitcoin is able to hold 40,000 and push up higher, the next major resistance level is going to be this Fibonacci 47,000 and the 200 moving average, right? And keep in mind that we have a death cross coming up right here, right? This is a death cross. Silver line crossing the blue line, which is a 50-day moving average, crossing the 200-day simple moving average. And the last time we had this happen was back last summer when we had our crash, right? And we saw the price of Bitcoin try to come up, but it failed, and then we actually saw it go down even more for about another month, right, before staging a rally. Now, if that happens, if we follow the same price action, we might see something similar, like, oops, maybe like a fake rally and then a even more downtrend before moving up higher, right? I don't know, but man, you know, we really want to see the bulls defend it. If the bulls can defend this level and push the price up higher as it's crossing, I think that's going to be very bullish. But right now, it's very hard to say where we think the price is going, because Bitcoin technically is oversold. You see the RSI has been below 30 for multiple days now, but it still seems like it still seems very weak, right? And Bitcoin, we talked about how it's correlated with the stock market, and the stock markets have been fairly weak recently, even though it's starting to bounce, right? But of course, with the NASDAQ, it's been very weak as well, not being able to make all-time highs like the S&P and the Dow has over the last month, right? But even then, the market being weak, and not only that, the dollar going up, right? The dollar still being very, very strong, right? The dollar having this really nice rally in the second half of last year, that's putting a lot of downward pressure on Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin is seen as a risk-on asset, and even though Bitcoin is trying to hold 40,000 and trying to bounce right now, even though from breaking below 40,000 earlier today, there's still a lot of work that the bulls need to put in to defend this level and to push the price higher, because a lot of bears are looking at this and saying, wow, if we short this aggressively and push it down to 30,000, well, that's a lot of money that we can make, you know, by pushing the price all the way down to 30,000, right? So the bulls really need to step in and push the price up, back up at least above 47,000, ideally 50,000. For me personally, I would not be buying in until 52,000 is taken out. And the reason is that we have a lot of price action over here that acts as strong resistance, right? Just like when we chopped around sideways here for a while, all of this price action acted as resistance, such that when Bitcoin staged the rally in late July, we actually pulled back for 4 sessions, right, before pushing up higher, right? Because we had to clear all of this price action, and I think that something similar is going to happen if the price is able to push up higher. It's going to have some resistance around this level, and if we're able to clear that level, then to me that's when I would take a more aggressive long position. But for now, I do think that anything below 45,000, like I said here, anything below 45,000, right? 45,000 is my invalidation level. Anything below 45,000, you just have to assume that the trend will likely continue down lower, right? And I'm not saying you gotta like aggressively short Bitcoin. Look for the right moments. Look for a nice bounce to short into. You don't want to just short when everything is like right now. Everything's very oversold, right? The RSI is below 30, or it is above 30 now, but it was below 30 for like the last 2 days. So we might see a temporary bounce, but this could be a good time to enter a short position if it does become faded, right? And I think that until 45,000 is reclaimed, if Bitcoin is not able to have a strong close followed by another 1 or 2 days above 45,000, I do think you have to assume that any rally is going to be faded and we will likely continue down lower. And that's just the way you need to look at it. You know, it's not about what we want, it's about what the market is telling us. And right now the market is very weak and it's telling us that the bears are in control until at least 45. And once we break above 45, then we can start to think about entering a position. For me personally, I want to be a little bit more conservative and wait for confirmation, right? I want to wait above for 52,000 to be reclaimed and to push up higher. That's my own opinion. That's my own plan. You got to think about your own strategy based on your own risk tolerance and your own beliefs of the market. But right now, like I said, 40,000 is a very important level that we need to hold. And keep in mind, again, the death cross is coming up, right? If Bitcoin, unless Bitcoin stages a massive rally, I do think that the death cross is going to be bad, right? Because it was bad here, so we just have to assume that the bears are going to be excited that the death cross is coming up, and the bulls are going to have to fight against very aggressive short sellers, and that's just the reality of it, right? I would love for Bitcoin to put it on bottom right now and to reverse, right? But things aren't looking very good right now, and unless something like this were to happen, right? It's just a cultivate support around 40,000 and then push up higher. But for now, like I said, as long as we stay below 45,000, you just gotta assume, you have to give benefit down to the bears that they're in control now, right? But again, 45,000, if bulls can defend this level, then there's still hope for the bulls, right? So we don't want to completely count out the bulls. But for me, for now, I did have a nice small short position here, but for now, for me personally, I don't have a position right now. I'm looking for a nice bounce to potentially enter another short position, right? That could take us down lower to 30,000. But like I said, if 45,000 is reclaimed, then I will definitely not enter a short position. I'll be waiting to see until 52 can be reclaimed, and then I'll enter a long position. If 45 is reclaimed and 45 is broken again, right, then I will definitely short this market, as it will likely come down even more, right? If it's not be able to break through this resistance level around 47,000 to 52,000, right? So that's just the market, that the way I see it. Yeah, you know, right now, Bitcoin is technically still bullish in the macro sense, in that we have ascending triangle, right? We had ascending triangle right here, higher lows, and trying to break through a resistance around 70,000, right? Just below 70,000. But of course, we had this drawdown over the last 2 months due to concerns around the market, Omicron variant, and also the Fed's upcoming tapering and interest rate hikes. Excuse me. And so there's a lot of worries and fears in the market that that's going to affect risk-on assets, you know, growth assets like Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, right? Now that institutional money is involved, they're going to think like they would when they're trading in the traditional markets, right? So that's just some concerns that I have and my general overall strategy for the market. Now, before I let you go, let's look at the hash rate. The hash rate did peak. We talked about this in our last video at an all-time high in late December, but now it's pulling back a little bit. There is conflict in the Middle East, and the Middle East is, believe it or not, one of the big crypto mining areas where about like 18% or 18 to 20% of all the hash rate comes from the Middle East. So yeah, so we're seeing a bit of conflict in the Middle East, and that's affecting the hash rate. But as long as the hash rate is still in an uptrend, we should still assume that we will likely recover all-time highs soon, and that should be good for the price of Bitcoin going forward. Fear and Greed index is at fear right now, of course, with Bitcoin basically continuing to fall down, making lower highs and lower lows, right? But there is hope that Fear and Greed index can reclaim these back up to the greed level, right? Because it's very rare that we see Fear and Greed index fall below 10 or even reach 10, right? So usually that's followed by at least a relief rally, right? So just to summarize, I do think in the short term, Bitcoin is looking very oversold, right? Our oscillators, Fear and Greed index, like a lot of things, even the sentiment, like people are starting to turn, like the strongest bulls are trying to turn bearish, right? So I do think that Bitcoin is due for a bounce, but we want to see if Bitcoin can break above 45,000. If the bounce does not break above 45,000, it will likely be faded and continue lower, and we can look for short opportunities, right? If Bitcoin does break 45,000 but is not able to break above the 47,000 resistance levels by the we can see with the Fibonacci and also the 200-day moving average, right? If we can't break above the 200-day moving average and there's a death cross, then that will likely be faded as well. So what Bitcoin needs to do is it needs to cultivate support, break above the 50,000 to be safe, right? And then we'll see if we can break above 52,000. If 52,000 can be broken above, and that's where I'll be looking to add long positions. But for now, you want to be conservative and trade defensively, right? This is a choppy market. There's a lot of volatility, not only in crypto, but also in the stock market, right? You know, the VIX was up today. So yeah, even though that got faded a bit, but we'll have to see how the price action develops going forward. Hopefully, the bulls can defend 40,000 and we can put in a bottom and push up higher. But keep in mind that, of course, the death cross is coming up, and that could have a major effect on the psychology of the market, right? The bulls might not have the confidence to buy into the short attacks from the bears, who are going to be very confident as long as Bitcoin remains below the Fibonacci level and the 200-day moving average as this death cross is looming. So yeah, just hope everybody trades carefully. Don't use too much leverage, and definitely don't trade with money that you can't afford to lose, right? We definitely want to see if the bulls can defend 40,000, and hopefully in the next video we'll have our answer. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, useful, or informative, please like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe for updates. I appreciate all your support. Thank you again, and have a great day.